lot of technical challenges. Seems to be going along now. Okay, okay. I'm not going to do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 today because Sandy Hubbard is with us, and we're going to be talking about her article, and hopefully she can chime in and say hi. And if I get something really wrong, she can let me know. So anyway, we're going to talk about why you must hang out with smart people. Okay, and this is the PDF of it. Let's see if I can move it around. And Sandy is a thought leader in print and, you know, really thoughtful article here. And she starts off with no matter where you are in your print career and life, you must cultivate a large circle of smart people and friends. And I gotta agree with that. And you want a variety of smart people because some of the smartest people I've ever worked with, like the PhD statisticians, weren't really people. And I think of Jay Magnuson. I remember him giving a speech at a DMA on his Shade software, and he sort of bent down and read his notes and didn't look up and again the entire time. I think part of my the reason I had a lot of fun in my career was that I was probably the most gregarious data spokesperson back in the mid and late 80s and early 90s in there. And so I would get a lot of high ratings. I would also get a lot of low ratings, because I was kind of playing fast and loose, kind of like what I'm doing here today. And so anyway, you need a variety of smart people, right? And there's some people, there's this whole new culture of emotional intelligence or sales intelligence or intelligent intelligence. I don't know. I'm not sure if all of that uh, is exactly legit, but the point is that everybody has something of value, and it helps to listen to people and find out what they know and encourage them in their journey um, and you learn to build relationships with people who can open doors and give you advice and you can trust. And one of the great things that helped me in that regard was the Jaeger system training from Dexter Jaeger and his sons, um, Jeff and Doyle and Steve. Um, and I still keep in touch with Doyle and Steve, not so much Jeff. But anyway, they taught that you really want to learn to relate to people, which was not my thing. I was more the smart person that didn't think he needed any help. Um, Sandy recommends Michael D. Watkins' book, The First 90 Days, and I've been in a book club with Dave and Ken. I'll tag them in the show notes or whatever in the comments below, and we do a video summary. So I did a video summary. You can go on YouTube and find a video summary of just about anything. And I think this was actually done by Michael D. Watkins because it was on a YouTube channel called The First 90 Days. It might not have been him. I don't know anything about him, but it was a really interesting book. And especially the idea is, what do you do in a new job in your first 3 months? And the first point they made, there's an illustration that talks about someone getting promoted from, I think, CFO to CEO at Coca-Cola, and they just had a pretty disastrous career as CEO for not very long because they were used to having a lot of attention to detail as the CFO. You got to keep track of all the numbers, and you got to have a lot of them in your head. And that approach just didn't work. And the Peter Principle, of course, famously describes the move from best salesperson to sales manager. Not the same. Or, very, very few really star players make good coaches because the really star players are treated differently, And in order to get a team to really play well, you need to know how to get the the average professional player, which is, very, very high performance person, but all of a sudden they're in a world where they're not the highest performing person. You think even an offensive lineman might be an All-American coming out of college and, get a lot of promotion by their college. The University of Wisconsin is always promoting their players and talking about who won this award or that award. But when they get to the pro level, nobody even knows who they are, even when they have a 15-year career. I often read about somebody that's, had a really solid career in the NFL and I've never heard of them. Now, I'm not a huge fan, but so the skills that brought you to the new level, the new promotion, may not be the skills you really need. And that's one of the first things that the book recommends, is that you sit down and think about, what are you going to need in the new position? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Right? My weakness probably is team building, right? I'm awesome at looking around and saying, well, this is what needs to be fixed, but too often I end up fixing it myself. So Sandy could probably help me with that. Anyway, but there's some challenging parts in this summary that I listened to, which one of them was that, and the link I put right here, I don't know if you can see that, but the link is right there in the show notes, which are available at wdma.org. If you join and support our work, join the digital resistance, or you can even subscribe for free, and then you have access to the member area. That may not be in my best interest, but it's, to make things available to you. And so the link for that book summary is in these show notes. But one of the things that the summary said was, you don't want to keep your existing team too long. You want to evaluate them. You want to decide who you're keeping, who you're not keeping. But then in that same section on team building, it said, you don't want to make decisions too quickly. Did you hear that? You don't want to make decisions too quickly, but you don't want to make them too late either. And that, of course, is exactly what C-level leadership is about. When to put your foot on the gas, when to put your foot on the brake. When you're driving blind, essentially. You're driving out in the future and you really can't see very far, right? And that is always the challenge. And that's why you want some inputs. The Bible says there's wisdom in many counselors, but there's also confusion in many counselors. So you want to get into the coalitions and find out, you want to find smart people that aim high and have excellent personal accountability on top of their intelligence. I think you also want people with rich life experience, work experience, who can connect the dots in unusual ways. I hope that I give you that every day. But also, in my experience, you want someone who, there's a book called Balcony People, someone who want to lift people up and want to encourage people in their advancement. Not everybody wants that. Believe me, my experience, I've had people just really want to get rid of me because I'm a lightning rod, I was called by one of my pastors. As a leader, Sandy says, I need to stretch myself. Sandy, are you out there? Because you can comment on this if you're watching. I must be at the front end. Now, I may not be able to see it. It says I can see it, but that doesn't always work. So I may not be able to see it, but I can't really switch out of this right now. You can always comment when the show ends, and we'll talk some more, and I'll reply down there. I must be in front of trends. Exactly what I said. How do you see in the future? It's not easy. Trends, conversing with thinkers, intellectuals, dreamers, and brilliant visionaries. Okay. And I'm interested also, is anyone doing anything special for International Print Day? Deborah Korn is behind this, and she is something. She's brilliant. And the number of sponsors she's got is really great. I really admire Deborah. Anyway, earn the right to be invited to their inner sanctum. Okay. And Sandy talked about how she volunteered to help update the corporate handbook, which sounds endlessly boring. But because she was involved with that, she got to meet all the division managers, our external risk management company, a team of people who raised their hands like I did, plus the HR manager, the company attorney, and our corporate CPA. All important people, because a lot of those people are the people that will tell you to put your foot on the brake when you probably need to put your foot on the brake. But a great leader sometimes puts his foot on the gas when everybody's putting their foot on the brake. And we've talked about that, especially in marketing. But from that, she learned how big companies operate, where they can be exposed. I learned as I went, and you can too. 10 places to find and network with smart people. This was really interesting. Good, helpful advice. The print industry. One of the challenges these days is I just don't, I haven't found. I used to go to catalog conferences. There used to be ones called catalog conferences. There used to be ones called database marketing conferences. They don't seem to exist anymore that I can find. So the print industry was excellent. There are Dave Rosenthal's group. I benefited a lot from, which was COVID Print. It's got something like COVID Print Group. Girls Who Print. I'd like to join that. I think Deborah said I could if I wanted. Print Production Professionals, I'm in. Print Chat, I think I'm already in. I didn't know about D-Scoop. This is for HP large format digital print users, printers, and customers. And so I'm going to check out some of the printers I work with and see if I have an in to D-Scoop, because it looks like it's excellent. There you go. 16,000 HP industrial print and large format customers and partners. There you go. Mentoring and networking forums. I saw an article just the other day, I think it was in Forbes, about how if you're doing a startup, you might want to do fewer networking groups, but because, a lot of times it's only networking people trying to get into networking. Local gatherings, I haven't done a lot of that either. We try to have a few meetings for the WDMA in Wisconsin, and we do have a secret large mailers roundtable for Wisconsin mailers. But I've gone to a couple of these, and my expertise is probably so narrow that I didn't think I could really help out a lot of those people, and they didn't even know what I was talking about. Headhunters, matchmakers, and platform providers. I get a lot of headhunters that want to connect with me, but I've never really, I don't have any of them calling up and saying, here's a job that I think you'd be perfect for. Or, what I've always hoped was that if headhunters couldn't find somebody that could actually be perfect, they could consider a fractional CMO or something like that, and we could share the revenue for that. A great place to network with C-level players. Again, that hasn't been my experience. Most of the headhunters seem to keep their stable, of hot shots separate. It hasn't been a networking opportunity. Not sure about that. Masterminds, I know there are a number of paid invitation only or paid communities. Brian has one. David Foley is building one. I hope to be part of that. But they can be an echo chamber. That has been often my experience. Research groups. I reach out to a lot of research groups, but there aren't a lot. Lob is doing the research, and Sequel just announced a new research study. And so I've reached out to them a lot, but I guess I haven't earned the right to get in there. Hobbies. I took up beekeeping about 4 or 5 years ago, and boy, there's some really smart people in beekeeping. I couldn't believe it. Some people think bees are the canary in the coal mine, which may be the case. Advisory boards, served on a lot of those. Those can be excellent. So really a good article by Sandy Hubbard. I want you to think about that over the weekend. Think about places where you might become more involved. We would love to have some more help on the WDMA. We work with a lot of great printers, and Direct Mail 2.0 has recently joined, and so we would love some more help with that. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for somebody that's got connections and wants some help. That's in addition to smart people, I would say, people with a lot of connections. So thank you for that, Sandy. Have a great day. Like and share, repost. That's worth like 20 likes. And comment down below.